We had a wonderful time wrapping things up at Lady Di's B&B in Damascus, Virginia. She has an annual occurrence in her B&B of a wall painted with chalk, and everyone that stays with her that's a hiker signs the wall. So Perspiration, Inspiration, Smiles, and Upbeat, as well as our roadies, Wonder Woman and Roadie B, signed the wall to make our mark on the 2022 hiker season at Lady Di's B&B.
Hey everybody from beautiful Damascus, Virginia. We just finished up 70 miles on the AT Trail, and we're just doing this finished video to give you the highlights and just kind of catch up with you. It's a beautiful night here. We just had an amazing dinner. We finished the trail up around 2 o'clock.
Yeah.
About 2 o'clock this afternoon.
Topped it off with an ice cream cone.
Yes, yeah, it was great. So we had our dessert before our dinner, which was fine. But 6 days on the trail, 70 miles. It was my first time and my wife Kathy's first time, and it was amazing. I think for me, we started out in Tennessee. When we got into Virginia, we did 40 miles in Tennessee, and then we went into Virginia, got dropped off, and came back down into Damascus, another 30 miles, 40 miles, something like that. And Virginia was a really sweet place to hike. The terrain was very, very different than Tennessee for me. We started out in the highlands, and I'm not going to go a lot into that because I know others are going to talk about it. But it was a different world up there. It was really cool. Just amazing rock formations, and I thought it was amazing. We saw an amazing tree day 2. We saw a tree up on a ridge that came up, and then it had 2 branches coming straight off this way and then up this way. Obviously, Audra mentioned something about that she learned that Indians did that to for some reason. I forget what it was. But,
marking trails or directions of things.
Yeah. But it was really cool, very, very unique, and just did not hear a lot of wildlife out there a lot of the days, which I thought was very interesting to me. Didn't see a lot of birds. Saw a few deer day 2 running down the trail, but other than that, it was very, very quiet. Had a couple days of rain, a day and a half of rain, I would say. But it was a great hike. For me, it was very positive. I'm going away with just more clarity. I really believe that I heard God speak to me as I was, praying and just talking with Him, and just, connecting with my Father right there on the trail as I was walking, because you're just walking for hours and hours and hours. And so just talking with Him, and He just really spoke with me about some things, and I got a lot of peace. So I'm just so thankful for this trip and what God did. And I'm so thankful for growing closer to Audra and Jim too. What a great and precious friends and couple you guys are. Love you guys.
Thank you.
Love you too.
So I would say for the whole week, the highlight the part that I enjoyed the most was the Grayson Highlands and being dropped off there, because you're hiking up out of the parking lot and then up into the park, and all of a sudden you reach this high area and you're looking out, and the shrub has really reduced in size, and it's just grass level, and on these really rugged hills you can see ponies and cattle with long horns, and then you continue winding your way along the hillside, and all of a sudden there they are right there. You come upon them, and even a couple ponies kind of trotted up towards us to be closer to check us out, and that was really neat because I love cows, as these people have come to know, especially these people. But I love cows. I think they're really neat. And then not only was it Grace in the Highlands, but I think we went through 3 or 4 cow pastures as part of the trail. So I thought that was really neat.
Yeah.
And then Travis and I received our trail names this trip.
Yeah.
So this is.
I never knew about this. This was a new one for me. But
Yeah.
as I understand it, you always you have a trail name. You come up with a trail name, and so mine is Upbeat.
Because he's always upbeat and positive,
Always.
even
And
when
my wife's
you don't want to be.
right,
And I am Smiles.
because she smiles through her teeth and just talks, and
Yeah.
you can hear her smile in her conversation.
That's right.
Yeah.
It's really great.
And I would also say, like, this trip, I really felt God encouraging not just myself, but also Travis to ask for the comforter as you're talking to the Father. If you're going through something difficult, whether it's walking 70 miles or difficult relationships, He sent the comforter. And so it's important to ask Him in those moments when you need comfort, to send the comforter to comfort you in that moment, and to pray in tongues and ask for the interpretation, because that brought both of us a lot of peace out on the trail, and just changed our mindset where we didn't struggle with the thoughts anymore that were tormenting us, but we were really able to find just clarity and peace out there. It was awesome.
Yeah, it was great.
Amen. Well, hey everybody, Inspiration and Perspiration here. 4th year of section hiking the Appalachian Trail, and we're totally excited because we have completed 502 miles, 0.8, I think. Woo!
Awesome.
And we went to dinner this evening, and the waitress bought my beverage for our achievement. So that was pretty exciting. And not that there was anything very different this time, because the views, the trees, the streams, the mountain springs, the creeks, the shelters, the campsites, the people that you meet along the trail, it's intriguing every single time. And it was very, very enjoyable with everything that they said and more.
Mhm.
So my takeaway this year is the amount of peace that I have after this week of just being away from life's distractions, away from the noises, the blinking lights, the comforts, truly, creature comforts, and being out there in God's creation and really appreciating who He is and what He's given to us. So there are many highlights, what they shared and more. I have been exercising with my oldest daughter at the local wellness center, and I could tell the strength that I had this year. It was my strongest year hiking, and felt good. The first 3 days I didn't even have to take an Advil, which was really exciting. So just the wonder of the creation, the wonder of this creation and how God made it to be strong and restore and re-strengthen, that we should never get to a certain age or a certain point and think, oh, well, that's all done, because we can always do things to improve our own physical health, our mental state, and our spirituality. So I'm grateful for the tremendous peace that I have coming off of this 70 miles.
Amen.
And for Perspiration, I really earned my name over the past 6 days, because I don't think I've perspired this much on the AT. I would get into camp every night and my shirt would just be soaking wet. The humidity was kind of high, and we had lots of climbs, and this year was a lot of work for me. And I would say the highlight of this year was having Upbeat and Smiles with us, because we got to enjoy through them all of their first time experiences.
Yeah.
And they were all upbeat and smiles the whole time, so it was very pleasant to be with them.
Super enjoyable.
Yes, it was. And, you know, we all had the experience of not having a privy for the first 5 days. We didn't have one until today. This morning was the first time we were actually at a site that had a privy. So we all had to do one of those, you know, two of those things that you don't necessarily like to do out in the woods, but we had to do it. I would say the other thing that has really been impressed upon me through this trip is how important it is to have a lighter pack. So I'm going to be looking at how I can lighten up my pack, and also to have a lighter body. So I'm really going to commit myself to continue the exercise that I did in order to get ready to do the 70-mile hike. I'm going to continue to do that, and my plan is to lose some weight from the front pack as well. So I'm going to reduce weight in the backpack and the front pack before the next hiking trip. That's the plan. So all in all, it was a fantastic 6 days and 70 miles. And thank you for hiking along with us.
Yeah.
Blessings on all of you.
What was really great, I think, for Upbeat and Smiles to experience for the first time was the variety of things that can happen along the trail. There's always a plan when you set out, but then you have to be able to be flexible and adjust the plan. So we hiked for 2 days. The second day, it was very rainy in the morning. We were completely drenched. We planned 16 miles, but understood that because of the weather, that just was not going to happen. So we contacted our great friends and our roadies, and they came and picked us up. And so the next day, we got to slack pack because we had reservations at Lady Di's here in Damascus. And if you ever have a chance to stay in Damascus, we would highly recommend Lady Di's B&B. And so there's just always things you have to be flexible about. The number of miles, where you're going to stay, the weather can change things, how you feel can change things. You might have a little injury or a soreness or something. So it's been really fun to experience all those firsts with these two.
Yeah.
So thanks for joining us, and we'll see you in 2023.
Thank you.
Thanks for watching.